When you look back at the landscape of the early role-playing game genre, you might remember titles like Wizardy and Ultima. An RPG, in the 80s at least, was a very Western type of video game, and it wasn't until games like Final Fantasy dropped that this perspective shifted. While Final Fantasy is noted as having a more direct influence on the role-playing game genre overall, it did have a predecessor that laid the groundwork for future Japanese RPGs. That game is of course Dragon Warrior, which hit the American NES market in 1989. The plot to Dragon Warrior is very simple. You're the descendant of a legendary hero tasked with saving a princess and stopping the evil DragonLord by stealing the balls of light back from him, restoring peace to the whole land. Here's a CGRundertow fun fact for the day. You can actually beat this game without rescuing the princess. It's just a lot easier if you actually do rescue her. There's item shops, townsfolk to talk to, monsters to battle, all the stuff you'd expect from an RPG, but what Dragon Warrior does very well is make you actually feel like you're on a huge quest. The overworld is large and the towns are far and few between, so the feeling of tension rises. You'll find yourself wondering if you can even get to an inn before the DragonLord's demons overtake you. Caves create a sense of confusion because they're so dark and dismal, and you don't really know where you're going unless you have a torch or a magic spell to light your way. It's almost impossible to find your way out without those, and being lost in a cave can be deadly if you're out of items or at a low level. It's that sense of being alone that creates the tension in this game. No one has your back in Dragon Warrior, other than a hopefully reliable battery backup. Can you believe that the Japanese version of this game had a password system? I don't think I could deal with that. The overworld is standard but very open. There's not really a super linear storyline to follow, so if your wits are about you, there's not much to stop you from getting anywhere other than the strength of the monsters you'll fight. Battles take place in the traditional Dragon Warrior first-person perspective, and battles on the overworld have a static background, which I really like. Dragon Warrior is as simple as it comes. When you buy a new weapon, for example, you automatically equip it. The spells that cause damage are called Hurt and Hurt More. What more explanation do you need? No one has played this game ever looked at their spells and said, I wonder what Hurt does. Final Fantasy had spells like Fire and Nuke, and Dragon Warrior had Hurt More and Stop Spell. Yeah, the book RPGs for Dummies could probably get a few pages from Dragon Warrior. Lastly, let's talk about the real flaw in the game, and that's the difficulty. You'll need to spend several hours, yes, several hours, trying to level up your character in order to get strong enough to make it through every new area. I'm not exaggerating. It takes hours and hours just to get to another level and get enough money to buy new weapons. If you die, say goodbye to half your gold and be prepared to walk all the way back from the castle. You'll be hearing "a death should not have taken thee" more times than anything else in this game, I assure you. Other than "thou art dead," of course. Is Dragon Warrior a good game to pop into your NES? That honestly depends on your perspective. If you're a fan of the series and want to check out the roots of the game, sure, play it. If you want to revisit the history of the RPG genre, sure, play it. If you like your role-playing games filled with giant airships, evil electric companies, all that kind of stuff, then you may not be interested in this slower, grindtastic RPG.